federal judge has set a June trial date for Venezuela's ousted President Nicolás Maduro. Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were both in court yesterday. Prosecutors accused the pair of working with drug cartels to help move thousands of tons of cocaine into the U.S. Maduro and Flores deny the charges. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman was in the courtroom as this unfolded yesterday, and she joins us now to discuss what happened. Katrina, good morning. What happened then during this hearing? What did we learn?
Good morning, Errol. So this was the first time that we had seen Nicolás Maduro and his wife since March, and this hearing was basically about figuring out how this trial is going to proceed. But he seemed to be in good spirits. When he walked into the courtroom, he actually turned to all of us and said good morning in English. But essentially what's going to happen is they want this to proceed in two stages. For the first stage, Maduro's team is going to try to challenge whether he should even be in this court at all, whether this is a legitimate proceeding. So the judge set oral arguments for November that's going to be on that issue. But as you said, he also set the trial date for June. So basically, if they pass that threshold, then there will be all of the normal discovery. There's going to be classified material, which always makes things more complicated. So that was really the essence of this hearing, figuring out the path forward. So we'll next be in court with them in November for those oral arguments.
It's just so fascinating watching this footage just from January when Maduro was arrested and brought here. How do they plan to challenge the indictment? On what grounds exactly? The fact that he was a head of state? How do we expect that to play out?
That was what his lawyer raised in court yesterday, that they're going to claim sovereign immunity, that as head of state of Venezuela, he has immunity. He shouldn't be in this court. It's very unlikely that they'll win on those grounds, but that will be a main challenge. We also expect they'll likely bring up the legality of how Maduro was brought here, the fact that he was captured in Venezuela, brought to the U.S. But again, there's Supreme Court precedent that generally allows these types of proceedings to move forward, regardless of whether the person was brought to the U.S. lawfully. And then one other thing I've heard brought up, which they didn't mention in court, is there's this 1922 extradition treaty that basically says if there's a dispute between the U.S. and Venezuela, it should go into arbitration. So there are some legal experts that are claiming that his legal team could also make this argument, that this actually shouldn't be in this court. It should go through the arbitration system first. Although I did talk to one legal expert this week who said, while that's a valid argument, usually the court is deferential to the president and the executive branch, so he wasn't really sure if that would succeed either.
Wow. It's unclear where this case will go from here, but you were in the courtroom getting a good morning from Nicolás Maduro. Katrina Kaufman, thanks so much.
Thanks, Errol.